I've got all these lights happening, and I've got you know, my desk set up how I want it, and you know, I'm figuring it all out, how to do this YouTube thing, how I want to interact with you guys and make these videos interesting. But I have a problem. I have an addiction. I don't smoke, I don't drink. None of those kinds of serious things. The addiction that I have is this. I'll be sitting around just watching other people's YouTube videos for too long. I'm also one of the lucky people who still has an essential job. It is part-time, and I kind of like it that way because it affords me the freedom to do a lot of writing and drawing and whatnot. But if I'm spending that free time sitting around watching other YouTubers instead of making my own YouTube videos, instead of making my own stories and sharing them with you, it's not fulfilling at all. So my cure for this lately has been to do whatever I can to try new things. And that expands to everything, like how I get up in the morning, how I eat, getting rid of this stuff, and I'm gonna start eating more of this stuff. It will help me to do art, I think. It will make me feel a lot healthier, a lot more energized. I am changing everything. How I think, how I feel, how I go about my day. And it's gonna be injected into how I make these videos. So generally when I'm drawing from imagination, I will just visualize what I'm about to draw on the page, and then take a couple of seconds, maybe even a minute, just to think about the pose and what character I'm going to draw. And what's really exciting about doing this and like warming up like this is as I'm drawing, I can explore the story and share that with you guys, what I want the story of this character to be. Alright, so I think I've got it in my head and I've got the character ready to put down on the page. Let's get into it. So I'm not going to excruciatingly go through this in a tutorial fashion. This is more of a little journal and a little exploration of the topic of drawing from imagination versus drawing from a reference. And so I'll just pop in with a little bit of commentary here and there. As it is from imagination, you can already see I'm using circles at the knee joints and guiding lines like the line of action down the spine and whatnot, trying to just be sure that my anatomy is on point as much as possible. And this illustration shows that when you lapse in your practice of drawing and when you do draw from imagination, you can sometimes lead to kind of big heads and, you know, small waists, small legs. So I am going to redo this drawing in a minute, and I mean, I'm not entirely unhappy with the results. I mean, this character looks pretty cool, actually. Those of you with a bit more of a keen eye for this, you'll be able to see that, yeah, her head is a bit too big for her body. But yeah, I just wanted to continue on and finish the illustration and get some of the colours in and just explore how I want to design this character. But now we're going to move on to round 2, drawing from reality, or as you might say, from reference. I don't have a beautiful woman model at hand, so Instead, I've got these two beautiful dogs. We got Xena, who I'm looking after for a friend for a little while, and Bailey. Bailey? Come on, Bailey. And so yeah, I'm just going to get them settled in and start doing a little sketch of Xena. She's so cute. Personally, I'm not really into doing like photo accurate illustrations of a referenced piece. You know, I sort of have the mind that, you know, if it's like photo real illustration, I'd rather just take a photograph. I like to cartoon it up. When I'm looking at a reference like Xena here, I actually do it differently to how I would with an imagined illustration. So I look at the contours of the model and I look at the negative space between different parts of the body, like between, you know, how much space is there between her paw and her tail. Actually, Xena's owner taught me a lot of that. Now on to round 3. We're going back to the same character. I want to see how far I can take this sci-fi warrior woman who in this illustration is getting in more into the realm of not so necessarily a warrior, but like some sort of bandit on rocket boots or something. I'm not exactly sure what she's carrying in those bags though. Is she a bank robber or something? Do banks in the future even have money? You know, I don't know. But yeah, I'm trying to see where I can take this character's story through the pose and through the actions and trying out different things. I'm actually sticking with the same sort of colours though. Just so I don't have to worry about that too much, and I think there were some nice colours with the first drawing, so why not just keep going with that? Oh, that part-time job I mentioned, I've just got to go and do that. It'll be 2 hours. I'll speed it up for you, but just give me a minute. I'll be back and we'll jump straight back into doing art. A different lens, but yeah. Cool, so we'll go in a minute. Yeah. How's that? Alright. Hey Dad, you all good? I'll take Bailey and Xena for a walk soon, but first, getting back into art. I was going to draw Bailey, but he just walked off somewhere, so I'm just going to draw another illustration of Xena. This one, yeah, pushing that cartooniness even more. Still just trying to get the reference as close to how she's sitting. She's moving around a little bit, accentuating the snout and, you know, exaggerating those beautiful big eyes. And now I'm jumping into the inks. You can probably see I do draw like little patterns. The fur on her, it might get a little bit symbolic, which is typical in cartoony art. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think you just have to practice and make it look like the right balance between like realistic fur and sort of a cartoony vibe. And of course with the colours, I'm just trying to get it as accurate as I can, but also just exaggerate it a little bit, you know. She has a nice varied coat of colours on her, and yeah, I just pushed that a bit. On to round 5. We're going back to imagination and we're drawing this character again. Sorry about this camera angle, I knocked the little focus ring, but we're going to jump over to this picture and yeah, it's really going well, I think. I'm pushing the cartoony vibe and trying to get a nice pose and the composition of the whole image really synced up together, and we've changed it up from a sword or a shield or whatnot to an epic electronic sci-fi weapon of sorts. And yeah, she's hovering around on a hoverboard. I'm trying to avoid any tangents where lines are butting up against each other and it looks a bit awkward. But I still want to put a big awesome background in there, and we've got some sweeping clouds and some trees, and I've got a cord that controls the electronic blade, and so I'm really trying to tell the story of this character as much as I can. I'm not going to put her in a comic book or anything. This is all just for fun, and I'm not exactly sure what the significance of the number 10 on her chest is or anything, but yeah, just playing around and seeing where I take the character is the fun of drawing from imagination, without any reference or anything. But look, these ideas don't just come out of a vacuum. I think you'll see in a minute. I'll show a clip of what I've been getting up to, which has inspired me to draw this character on a hoverboard. I'm consuming a whole bunch of other media, other films and video games. You know, of course I'm trying to lessen that a little bit so I'm not getting too absorbed in that and procrastinating, but yeah, it's important to do that stuff. And I think if you're struggling to get inspired and do art from your imagination, you should have a go at that thing that you've been itching to do but putting off, or maybe try something completely new, like pick up photography and go to the forest or something and take some pictures. Just do whatever. If you're feeling particularly uninspired, just do whatever you can to experience something new, something fresh, and it might trigger a cool character or a cool illustration. So Xena took up a really cute pose here. She is moving around a little bit, but yeah, she's snuggled up in there, and I just wanted to capture that moment as much as I could. And you know, by this stage I've done technically, you know, I've done 6 illustrations this morning, and I just wanted to finish it up with this nice little piece of her snuggled up in bed. And you can see that little star on her head. I've really exaggerated and highlighted that. She does have some awesome markings on her, but you know, bringing those out a little bit in cartoon drawings, I think makes it a bit more fun and a bit more eye-catching as well, you know. So then, you know, doing the inks, of course, and now finishing up with the colouring. And I'm using very similar colours to the other 2 drawings, and just trying to stick to her coat, but also, yeah, make it look nice and saturated. Alright, so I'm really happy with how these drawings turned out. The imagined illustrations at the top and the referenced images at the bottom. They were created with different methods, different ways of thinking. Like, I did, for the most part, stick to the poses that Xena had. I also just tried to tell as much of the imagined story that I could with the warrior woman. I hope you guys are inspired and curious to try out jumping between drawing from imagination and drawing from a reference. A clip of where I got inspired. I had my 30th birthday cancelled. We were going to be going to New Zealand. It was going to be so much fun. So instead I went out and bought an electric skateboard, electric hoverboard, one wheel. And yeah, I've been having heaps of fun with that. So that's inspiring me to come up with cool characters that do, you know, different things. Alright, thanks you guys so much for watching. Actually, I'm just gonna pick these up off the floor and put them in the bin. We have to put the bin in the laundry because of this big fella. He just wants to eat everything, anything. Don't you, mate?